So I think what you'll find with your documentary is that small government doesn't equal bad government. We have a ton of talented people working all across the state. The mayor in Indiana, she's a PhD. She teaches at the university.
Are you considering an endorsement for either candidate?
No, I knew Tex Murphy. I liked Tex Murphy, but I never endorsed him in a race. I'm just hoping for a good, clean campaign. Fort Fable is essentially divided into two separate communities. The center of town here is your more blue urban area, where you'll find your coffee shop, your bookstore, your community theater, things of that nature. Now, it extends in about 4 blocks every direction. Here is your more rural red area. This open space right here is our shooting range.
I've been trying to get a stop sign at the intersection of Maple and Spruce. My kids play there and cars fly up and down the road. I've been writing city council for months. Can you help me?
That certainly sounds like a solvable problem. I'd send an engineer out right away to survey the area.
Well, give me a hammer and a flashlight. I'll pound it in tonight. Yes, over there.
There are currently 3 pending lawsuits against the police department because of alleged brutality. As mayor, what steps might you take to better oversee your officers?
Well, I think in matters of brutality, you need to have an analysis to see if there's a pervasive systematic issue or if the problem results from a series of isolated incidents.
Jimmy, have a talk with your guys. Stop the funny business.
Going into the debate, our plan was to make sure that Bryce was unflappable. The last thing we wanted was for him to crack if things got too intense. Look in my eyes! That was my little boy who got killed by that street sweeper. I adapted my training strategies from some of Plato's dialogues and The Art of War, and a drill instructor that I saw in a movie once.
Candidate. After I was gang raped, my insurance company was billed for the cost of the rape kit and I had to pay a deductible. I was told that this was a cost-saving measure put forth by the local police force. Is there something you can do to revoke this terrible policy?
What my opponent fails to mention is that many of the methods that have made his business so successful are the same exploitative practices that have led to the greatest division between rich and poor since the Great Depression.
Some people happen to be wealthy, Comrade Kemp, and they create jobs. That's how America works. Yes, you with the pistol.
I just would like to know what measures are being taken to prevent a terrorist from attacking our town.
Things were tense from the first moment. They couldn't agree on anything.
Can you hear me okay back there?
Does it feel warmer in here to you?
Feels the same to me.
The thermostat has gone up 10 degrees since we've been here, and all the ice in your glass has melted.
That's part of the natural cycle of the room. Let's not make an issue out of nothing.
Of course, we couldn't have anticipated how ugly things would get.
I'd like to speak a little bit about my opponent's experience. That's all I have to say. He has no experience to speak of.
And to the Democrat.
First, Marcy, I'd like to thank you for hosting this. Second, look at my opponent. He is a man who for decades has stood on the backs of his workers, many of whom make less than $10 an hour, to make himself taller. He is not the man you want running your community. He is not a public servant. He is a public nuisance. Thank you.
I'd like to thank everyone for coming out to the first and only.
Excuse me,
Fort
Marcy.
Fable mayoral
Excuse me.
debate.
My beautiful daughter Morgan and her fiance, everyone. Fort Fable is the greatest town in America, and I'm going to keep it that way.
Purple mountains, majesties, above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
We put together dozens